Now at 5, a local woman says her complaints about mold will cause her to lose her home. Plus, an effort to preserve the Quapaw language for future generations. And
former President Trump talks taxes while Vice President Harris hammers reproductive rights. I'm Skyler Henry in Washington with the battle for the battleground voters.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A Pittsburgh resident believes her lease is no longer being renewed because she reported mold concerns at her home. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Susan Ledbetter lived at the Pittsburgh Highland development for the past 6 years. She says she's struggled with mold every year, an issue KOAM reported on way back in 2019 when the development was under different management. In August, Ledbetter says the mold was the worst she's seen it. The owners moved her into a hotel while even her floors had to be replaced. Well, since then, she says she's received a notice that her lease is no longer being renewed. She believes it's because she's reported the issue with mold. She says other tenants have had similar concerns but are now fearful to speak up.
I hope that my friends and the other tenants that are going through the same thing don't have to live in fear of being thrown out just because they don't want to renew the lease when they already sent me. They've already invited me to stay. You see this, they've already invited me to stay. And then they're taking it away. So there's so many things wrong with this.
We reached out to the Moline Management Company who manages the development for a statement. The CEO says any mold issues at the development have been resolved. He says the company is not the true owners of the property, but declined to provide further information about ownership. We're going to have much more on this story for you tonight at 6 on KOAM. The Quapaw Language Department is kicking off their language classes today. The instructor will begin teaching about pronunciation as a foundation for the class. The goal of the class is to promote cultural preservation. Organizers hope to pass down the Quapaw language so future generations can feel more connected to their culture.
It's the ultimate vessel of our culture. I mean, you know, things come and go, the things around you will eventually deteriorate, but as long as, I mean, the oral tradition is like one of the oldest things in human history.
Quapaw is considered a dormant language, so no one speaks it fluently. One of the goals of the classes is to build toward fluency. Another cool, somewhat damp day out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, a lot of clouds once again for us today, and some on and off very light showers across the region has kept our temperatures down. 68 in Joplin, Pittsburgh sitting at 67 degrees, Nevada, Monette 68, Bella Vista 73, 74 in Grove, Miami 71, Parsons sitting at 70 degrees. But as we go through the next couple days, we do get a little bit of a warming trend. By Wednesday afternoon, upper 70s, pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. And that's what we're going to see on Thursday as well. Some light little sprinkles and showers rotating through. We're going to have these over the next several hours, and then they're going to rotate right on out of here. Temperatures will drop back into the 50s. We also have more rain chances in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
See you soon. President Biden addressed the United Nations General Assembly today for his final time as Commander-in-Chief. The speech comes as the U.S. announced it's sending a small number of additional troops to the Middle East as tensions in that region escalate even further. President Biden said he has not given up on reaching a diplomatic solution. The president also highlighted America's role in defending Ukraine against Russian aggression and his decision to not seek re-election.
As much as I love the job, I love my country more. I decided after 50 years of public service, it's time for a new generation of leadership to take my nation forward. My fellow leaders, let us never forget, some things are more important than staying in power. It's your people.
President Biden is expected to have one-on-one meetings on the sidelines, but so far a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is not on the schedule. The two presidential candidates each focused on issues that they feel are the strongest. Former President Donald Trump was talking about the economy during a trip to the battleground state of Georgia, while Vice President Kamala Harris is suggesting a way to make abortion rights federal law. Skylar Henry has more details from the campaign trail.
Former President Donald Trump took the stage in Savannah, Georgia for a speech focused on his tax policy.
We're cutting the business tax from 21% to 15%, which makes us the most competitive tax anywhere on the planet, but only for those who make their product in the USA.
Trump claims his protectionist policies, putting tariffs on goods coming into the U.S., will help, not hurt the economy.
We will take in hundreds of billions of dollars into our treasury and use that money to benefit the American citizens, and it will not cause inflation, by the way.
The Harris campaign released a statement from more than 400 economists contending Trump's tariffs and plans for mass deportations would cause prices to spike. Vice President Harris is off the campaign trail while President Biden is at the UN General Assembly, though she used a radio interview to sharpen her differences between her and Trump over the key issue of abortion. Harris told Wisconsin Public Radio she wants to eliminate the Senate filibuster to bring back abortion rights that existed under Roe v. Wade.
51 votes would be what we need to actually put back in law the protections for reproductive freedom and for the ability of every person and every woman to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
That would also require Democrats hanging on to a Senate majority in the upcoming election. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
Retiring Senator Joe Manchin, who flipped from being a Democrat to an independent earlier this year, announced he would not be endorsing Harris following her call to eliminate the filibuster. Manchin said getting rid of the Senate filibuster would destroy the country. A new American Cancer Society campaign urges men to know their PSA score. That's coming up. And a new study looks at the obesity rate in the U.S. Both stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, more than 40% of adults are obese, according to a new report from the CDC. The agency says the obesity rate has not changed significantly over the past decade, but the prevalence of severe obesity has risen from 7.7% to 9.7%. Obesity increases the risk of hypertension, type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, stroke, and certain cancers. September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. About 300,000 new cases are expected to be diagnosed this year. A new campaign from the American Cancer Society is encouraging men to know your score. That is the score or number that comes with PSA testing. Reporter Stephanie Stahl has more.
It's a scary thing, when you get that diagnosis.
Michael Nutter, the former mayor of Philadelphia, talking about his battle with prostate cancer that included surgery in 2020.
Talking about male function and all of these kinds of issues, and quite honestly, Stephanie, when it all came down to it, I just said, well, I want to live.
In addition to teaching and consulting, Nutter is also working with the American Cancer Society to help raise awareness with a new campaign called Know Your Score.
Not just what the Phillies or the Eagles or the Sixers or the Flyers are doing, but there's another score, which is your PSA, and you need to know that number.
A PSA blood test is the recommended screening for prostate cancer, which when found early is highly treatable.
When I got the call, the doctor said stage 3 prostate cancer.
Former NBA basketball star Alonzo Mourning is featured in the new PSA.
This Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, know your score. Finding prostate cancer early could be life-saving.
But after decades of decline, late-stage prostate cancer cases are on the rise. For black men, they're 70% more likely to develop prostate cancer compared to white men and twice as likely to die. It's unclear exactly why.
Black men in particular are reluctant to seek medical treatment for a variety of reasons.
The former mayor hopes to change that trend by sharing his story of survival. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
The American Cancer Society recommends men talk to a doctor about screenings for most men that should start at age 50 and earlier if they're at high risk. And nursing shortages can lead to more deaths. A study published in the British Journal of Surgery found the relative risk of mortality increased 9% each day that staffing levels are below average. Patients also face longer hospital stays and worse outcomes, as well as a rise in deep vein thrombosis, pneumonia, and pressure ulcers. Washington lawmakers look at Boeing safety concerns. That's coming up a little bit later.
Plus, it looks like our temperatures stay pretty nice over the next few days. We're going to check that out coming up. Well, of course, another kind of gloomy day for us today. Temperatures, 4 highs only into the 60s due to the clouds and the on and off showers that we've had throughout the day, but still a lot better temperatures than what we have seen. Nice shot, kind of gloomy. Indigo sky. Casino and Resort Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. 68 Monette, 71 Cassville, 72 in Bentonville, 71 in Miami. Chanute is sitting at 68, so very comfortable. Here's 7th and Rangeline, 68. Northerly winds are light at about 3 to 5 miles per hour. Plus, we've had some light little sprinkles, light little showers rotating through. We're going to see that this evening, sliding back into the 50s for overnight lows. Here are those light showers pushing through, another reinforcement shot of some Canadian air. And again, a lot of this is very light. We do have some embedded little showers in there, but most of this is fairly light. But you can see this little wave kind of working through, and then eventually right behind it will start to clear out. Look at the upper level winds right out of Canada. So that's what's given us those nice temperatures over the past couple days. We're also tracking Helene, which is a tropical storm and will shortly become a little bit stronger as we go through the next few days. So as we watch Helene, she's going to push up into the panhandle of Florida, but here's our upper level low, and then watch how they just kind of rotate around each other, and then our low will eventually absorb what is left of Helene. So that will give us some chances for rain once we get into Friday, also Saturday, but we're going to be right on the edge. All right, so let's check out Helene. Clocking winds at 50 miles per hour. It's going to track northwest, become a Category 1, most likely a Category 2 by Thursday. Could even be a low-grade Category 3 as it makes landfall on Thursday, and then that moisture kind of rockets back toward the west. So our rain chances, they start to creep up a little bit once we get into Friday afternoon, but majority is going to be on the Missouri and Arkansas side. So we're going to be right on that northwest edge or that cutoff zone, meaning if it shifts a hair east, we don't get anything. If it shifts a hair west, we could get some decent amounts of rain. Still some showers sticking around on Saturday, and then most of this moving out by the time we head into Sunday. So potential rainfall with the remnants of Helene. A lot of areas from Joplin southeast should pick up 1/2 inch to 1 inch, but the farther west you go, the lesser amounts of rain. All right, our light showers we have out there now, these are going to dissipate after midnight tonight. We drop back into the mid-50s, some patchy fog. As we go through the daytime hours on Wednesday, we warm near 70 by noon. Most of us 77, 78 degrees, so a pretty good day. Tomorrow night, slide back, lower 50s once again. And then Thursday afternoon, some mid and upper level clouds stream in late. The high temps again, 77, 78 degrees. On Wednesday, 72 by noon. High temp, 78. Let's go 77 on Thursday, 74 on Friday. Rain chances increasing late Friday into Saturday, but temperatures across the board looking pretty good.
I'm loving the look of that board all the way across.
Yeah, looks good.
Sure. Thanks, Doug. Coming up in Consumer Watch, the high cost of a weight loss drug. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the Federal Aviation Administration told House lawmakers Boeing has a ways to go on its safety overhaul program. The FAA Administrator Michael Whitaker testified before a House panel today, the first of 2 days of hearings about the airplane manufacturing giant. Boeing has been under the microscope since a mid-air door plug blowout on an Alaska Airlines flight back in January. Whitaker told the panel Boeing's safety culture improvements could take 3 to 5 years. The FAA capped production of the 737 MAX to ensure those changes are made.
What we're looking at is just to see that there's a real safety culture, not just safety's first as a slogan, but a real safety culture that permeates everything that's done and comes first before production goals or operational goals or mission goals or financial goals.
Whitaker also told lawmakers the FAA needs a facelift to update aging facilities. The CEO of the company that makes Ozempic and Wegovy was on Capitol Hill today, asked by senators why the popular diabetes and weight loss drugs are so much pricier in the U.S. compared to other countries. As Natalie Brand explains, the drug maker's CEO put the blame squarely on insurance companies.
It is a profound moral issue.
Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders opened the hearing drawing attention to the high costs of popular diabetes and weight loss drugs made by Novo Nordisk. A Senate committee report found the monthly price for Ozempic in the U.S. is more than $900 compared to $59 in Germany, while Wegovy costs over $1,300 in the U.S. compared to $92 in the U.K.
Treat the American people the same way that you treat people all over the world. Stop ripping us off.
The company's CEO, Lars Jorgensen, blamed the U.S. health insurance industry, specifically middlemen known as pharmacy benefit managers, or PBMs.
For every dollar we make, we give 74 cents to the PBMs, insurance companies.
Jorgensen testified that when Novo Nordisk significantly dropped price of another drug, U.S. insurance companies stopped covering it. Republican Bill Cassidy is also a doctor.
So we need to make a serious effort to navigate the network of perverse incentives throughout our healthcare system, including taking a substantive look at health insurance benefit designs, price transparency.
High prices have led some employers to stop covering Wegovy. Traylene Williams started taking the drug in 2021 after struggling with morbid obesity, but lost coverage in April.
That's like a mortgage payment that I simply cannot afford.
At the hearing, Sanders announced he received commitments from major PBMs to keep covering Ozempic and Wegovy, even if Novo Nordisk substantially reduces the list price. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Novo Nordisk CEO says he's skeptical of the promises from the PBMs, but says he's willing to look at it for the sake of all patients. Almost 6 in 10 Americans say they would need to earn at least $100,000 a year to stop feeling anxious about their bills. That's according to a new report from Edelman Financial Engines. About half of that group put the amount even higher at $200,000 per year or more. A final check of the forecast next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, meet one woman who paid a big price after getting caught up in an online fraud. Why she's accusing her bank of not doing enough to stop it. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to explain KOAM's new 24-hour news streaming service. Plus, we're going to hear more from that Pittsburgh woman who claims she'll lose her lease because she complained about mold in her home. And we're going to check out the new Johnny Cash statue representing Arkansas in our nation's capital. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Teachers at Joplin's McKinley Elementary School are going to find it a little bit easier to buy school supplies thanks to a donation. The school gets a $3,000 check from the Subaru Loves Learning Initiative, courtesy of Frank Fletcher Subaru. The money will be shared among teachers to spend on supplies from select vendors associated with the program.
Subaru in general is just really big on community work, so we just want to be as much involved with our community as possible, and this is another way to do it.
Another $3,000 gift will go toward a software system in place in McKinley that helps staff and students stay safe during arrival and departure times. It's remarkable to think, Doug, that a week ago we were complaining that it was too hot and too dry. Both of those have been corrected.
Yeah, temperatures have greatly gone down. Plus, we've had some on and off showers over the past couple days, which we are going to see this evening. Wednesday and Thursday look pretty good. Sunny skies, high temps, right where they should be, 77 degrees.
That sounds great. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next. Of course, we'll be right back here at 6. Let's make it a great evening.